Hello everyone, my name is Ariel, and today we are going to be doing Indigenous American rock painting. Before we begin, I want to talk a little bit about who Indigenous Americans are and what rock painting is. So who are Indigenous Americans? Indigenous means first. Indigenous American people are the first people to live in the Americas. A long time ago, people did not use letters to write words. They had so many ideas and feelings and experiences, and they wanted to remember them, but they did not have a way to write them down. How could they share their ideas and feelings if they could not write them down? They shared them by talking to each other and telling stories, and they painted their experiences. We say that Indigenous American people wrote with pictographs, which means that they wrote with picture words. They used pictures, symbols, and shapes to write. What is a symbol? A symbol is a mark that means something, like shapes, lines, hearts, circles, a square. Other marks like a zigzag, dots, and swirls. Letters and numbers are also symbols. They painted pictures of things that happened to them, things that they saw, stories that they heard, and dreams that they had. They also painted animals and people. They painted lines and circles and zigzags and swirls. Sometimes they made handprints and fingerprints and designs using different colors. Long ago, Indigenous Americans also did not write on paper. Instead, they wrote on cave walls and large rocks, like these. Some of them were really big. What can you tell me about caves? A cave is an open space in the side of a mountain or underground. Long ago, many Indigenous families lived in caves, and they painted and decorated their rock walls. A painting on a rock is called a petrograph. Today, Indigenous American people use letters in the alphabet and write words and sentences and even whole books full of memories. They also have paper that they can use to draw and paint on. But many Indigenous American people also continue their tradition of rock painting. What is a tradition? A tradition is something that you do with your family, that your parents did when they were young, that your grandparents also did, and your great-grandparents also did. Tradition is something that the older people in a family teach the children in the family. And then when those children grow up, they teach their children. And when those children grow up, they teach their children too. So, many families continue the tradition of rock painting. Their tradition is special to each family, and they use the rocks that they paint to decorate their homes and their gardens and to give as gifts. So today, we are going to be making petroglyphs. We have traditional Indigenous American colors, which are yellow, red, green, turquoise, and orange. There are also many other colors that Indigenous Americans use in art, but we are going to use ones for our art today. I also have several different rocks to choose from. You can gather rocks from outside, different sizes and shapes, whichever ones you want to paint on. And a palette. If I was going to be doing this with children, I would probably have a bigger palette for each of them to be able to access. But for myself, I'm using a piece of tin foil. I also have a cup of water, 2 paintbrushes, a popsicle stick, and my fingers. So I am going to give myself a little bit of each color And the children can choose to put whatever designs they want on their rocks. If they want to try symbols that they know, like circles or squares or lines, or if they want to put their fingerprints, it's really open to a lot of different possibilities. It's just however they want to express themselves, just like they would on paper, but they're expressing themselves on the rock. And after the discussion about rock painting, they might have some ideas about, a memory or an experience, or maybe they want to paint their friend, maybe a handprint stood out or a fingerprint. So once you give them the supplies, the rocks, the paint, and tools, you can really just let them go and let them be creative and create how they want to. Once they are done creating their art, they are going to wash up their own space, bring their rock to the drying area, wash and dry their hands to make sure that they are also taking care of their classroom and being respectful of their environment. So I'm going to go ahead and apply some paint to my rock, and I'm going to use my fingers. So I think that would be pretty fun and also tactile. I'm going to use my left non-dominant hand. And so while you're doing this, you can go ahead and talk to the children about the experience and seeing how is it different applying the paint to the rock. How is that different than applying paint to a paper? What are you making on your rock? What traditions do you have in your family that you would like to share or tell us about? And it really doesn't have to be a picture of anything, It can be completely non-representational, as we know. Or maybe they want to try to put their own shapes. Maybe they want to make a letter on it. I mean, it's really whatever they want to put on it. So I'm just applying paint with the different tools, using the back of the paintbrush like a stick. I can also use the brush side of the paintbrush, maybe put some green on there. It's really just whatever they want to put on the rock to express themselves. And I can apply it with the stick as well. So once they're all done, like I said, this is what my rock looks like. And they go ahead and dry, and once they are done, they can bring them home to share them with their families and decorate their homes and, talk about some traditions that they share with their family. There's a lot of follow-up activities that you can do at this one, where they bring the rocks home and then they discuss the traditions with their family and come back and then share those stories with the rest of the class. So thank you all so much. I enjoyed the activity today. See you all later.